Robin and his pals hit the big screen and Teen Titans Go to the movies. Is it Teen Titans Go or Teen Titans No? The whole premise of the animated film is that Robin and his friends, the Teen Titans, are jealous because they're not taken seriously as superheroes. And they figure out that, oh my gosh, all of these superheroes are really, they're considered superheroes. They're taken seriously by the world because they have movies made about them. So now Robin and the Teen Titans, their singular goal is to become movie stars, to get a movie made about them. And then they discover, oh, we need an arch nemesis because that will then make us true heroes, that we battle somebody. And that's the whole movie. I'm really conflicted on how I feel about this movie because on one hand, the humor is geared kind of towards adults. But the story is so predictable and so basic that any adult is basically just going to fall asleep. Like, I almost nodded off while watching this. It was just kind of it. There were one or two moments that I laughed out loud because the movie was so self-aware and it almost didn't take itself so seriously that it made some inside jokes or it made these just outrageous things happen. And so those caught me off guard. I laughed out loud, so I need to give credit to that. I'm also conflicted though, is that it's an animated movie, and so little kids are gonna just totally dig it. But the message is terrible in this. It is totally selfish and self-centered, and while there is a little bit of character change by Robin, the majority of the story is all about him being selfish and all about what he wants, and him trying to just become this hero. So it's totally self-absorbed, and he brings his friends along with him and drags them into it. So is it a good movie for kids? I don't really think so. Sure, is it mindless and they'll sit there and watch the entertainment and because it's animated and they'll be, just sit there and go, ah, that's funny, I like that. Sure, they're going to, but do you really want to be putting these messages into their heads? I don't think so. As a parent, I wouldn't want to do that if my kids were little. Now, speaking, if my kids were little, they wouldn't be allowed to watch this because of that I wouldn't want them emulating the behaviors that they saw on screen. Now, they're teenagers, and so we got to kind of laugh as these outrageous things happened. But other than that, no, I don't think it's a kid's movie, and it's certainly not an adult's movie because who wants to watch this boring, terribly written animated story? There are so many better stories out there, and it doesn't matter if they're animated or live action. That has nothing to do with it. It's the story itself. There's an opening mini movie that happens, kind of like how Pixar does. They do a short before their feature film. So Warner Brothers Entertainment or Warner Brothers Animation, they did a short as well. This is terrible. It is such poor writing. Nothing really happens in this short. I mean, I can't even begin to describe how bad it is because it is completely flat. A 3-year-old could have written, a third grader could have written the story because nothing really happened. There was no conflict in it. There was a little bit, but it was so basic that it's terrible. It's about Batgirl wanting to get with her friends to go destroy an enemy or fight an enemy. And she can't sneak out of the house until her dad falls asleep. That's the conflict. And then it's just a whole bunch of her jumping through the streets and swinging off of things, and then she arrives with her friends, and then they fight the bad guy and it ends. I mean, that's not a story. Stop. Anyway, enough on my rant about the little short that happened at the beginning of Teen Titans Go to the Movies. I don't think that the movie itself is really worth seeing in theaters. If you want to spend $1 at Redbox, sure, go ahead. Knock yourself out. I still don't think it's made for little kids though, even though it's geared towards little kids. And I don't think it's made for adults, and it's not geared for adults. So, what are you gonna do? I mean, the animation style is fine. It's just kind of basic and it resembles hand-drawn, even though it may be computer, but it's not 3D. It's totally flat animation, which is great. And I think that was good. The songs in it are fine. They get a little annoying when they repeat themselves over and over again, but for the most part, the soundtrack was fun to listen to, and I found myself tapping my feet. And again, some outrageous things happen while the songs are going on, and so those caught me off guard and made me laugh out loud. There's no sex, no nudity, there's animated violence, there's not really any language. I think it's rated G or maybe PG at worst. So, it is made for kids, even though I wouldn't recommend it for kids. I give Teen Titans Go to the Movies 2.5 out of 5 couches. Have you seen it? What did you think? I'd love to know your thoughts, especially if you were a fan of the show and now you've seen the movie. How did it compare? What did you think? Did they destroy it? Did they just live up to it? Are you just totally stoked? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, give it a like. Don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.